So today we're making a very cute little card, very simple card, with this awesome new Sale-a-bration set. It's called Heartfelt Blooms, and I have to be really honest with you and tell you that when I first saw this in the Sale-a-bration catalogue, I completely dismissed it. Just another flower set. Don't need any more of those. I've got plenty, and I went looking for things that were different, and I got them. I put in probably too big an order, but that's how it goes. I'm sure you guys relate. But then I started seeing what people were doing with it, and all of a sudden I realized I had misjudged this set. So I wanted to show you why it is actually different and why it isn't just another flower set. This is a beautifully detailed stamp, and the level of detail that you get just from a simple rubber stamp is quite amazing. It is red rubber, so I've got mine here in clear, in the clear mount, so red rubber that goes onto clear blocks, okay? And there's also wood mount available, so you can have them on wood. Now normally I do favour wooden sets. I've always been a traditionalist and preferred those. However, with the Stamparatus coming out in the middle of this year, I am really hoping that having a few more clear stamps might be a good thing to work with my Stamparatus. This set I probably wouldn't need to have a Stamparatus because there's not a lot of matching up or lining up to do. It's a pretty simple one to stamp, but yeah, just something to bear in mind when you're purchasing your stamps. If you normally favour wood, if it's a stamp that you're going to need to do some lining up, like a two-step stamp or something like that, you may want to think about clear, so that when the Stamparatus comes, it will work with those stamps, because it doesn't work with the wooden stamps. So if you don't know what a Stamparatus is, there's some videos out there on that, but yeah, definitely worth checking out, because that's coming out later this year when our next annual catalogue comes out, or the people that have already reserved one will get theirs earlier. So this is the card that we're making. It is actually a really simple little card. I'm just stamping on a piece of Whisper White cardstock, and I'm using Night of Navy ink. And I'll give you the measurements for the cardstock. I kind of made it up as I went along, but I have gone back and actually measured it for you. The navy piece is 13.5 centimetres by 8.5 centimetres, and the Whisper White piece is 10.5 centimetres this way by 8 centimetres this way. It would be very easy to convert into inches, but I've done it in centimetres today for all my Australian friends and those of you in Europe who also use metric. Alright, so I'm making sure I've inked this stamp up really well, and when you look at the stamp, you should be able to see it has some really beautiful detail just in that one rubber inking. It looks fabulous. So I'm going to put it over towards the left here. It doesn't really matter because I'm going to be chopping it up anyway. And I'm going to pop that there like that. All right, how beautiful is that? It's just amazing. I don't know how they did that. But anyway, I guess that's why I don't manufacture stamps. Now then what I did was I brought in my trimmer. And I started trimming at around about the 2.5 centimetre mark, roughly. And just cut it, and that's about an inch, by the way. If you're wanting inches, that's about the same. And 2.5 again, and then there's a little bit more left on the end there, but that's okay. You could always get rid of a little bit of that if that bothered you, that was a bit too much space there, and I might even do that when I put it on my card. I've now got my 4 pieces, so I just have to make sure that they line up. So that's how it's going to go down when we put it back together. Now I've got this piece here. You could sponge around the outside if you want to. I'm not going to for the video today, and I didn't for my original card either. That would be completely up to you if you wanted to do that. So I'm just lining it up so there's the same amount of distance top and bottom from the left there. And then I'm going to do the same with the next piece. I'm just using Snail, which works really well with your thinner papers like Whisper White. Nice and quick. And just a small gap in between, so you can still see the design continuing and another piece here. Once again, same amount of distance in between, and the last piece, this piece here. Like I said, you could chop a little bit off that if you didn't want to have that extra white there on the end. And then I've got a piece of silver glimmer paper, which I've already cut to size. Now that actually is a little bit wide, so I could either take a bit off the white or take a tiny bit off the glimmer paper, which in this case is what I'll do. When I'm cutting glimmer paper, I always cut from the other side so I don't blunt my blade as quickly. And I'm just going to take a slither off that. Hang on a second while I get it straight. There we go. That's better. Then I'm going to put a bit of adhesive on the back of the glimmer paper as well. You could use fast fuse if you prefer. And I'm just going to fill in that little bit of blank space there at the end. Okay, you could of course measure it so it was exact, but I actually really liked having a little piece of the silver there on the end. And then I pop that onto a piece of smoky slate cardstock, which I folded in half. And I've got my card going this way, and I use dimensionals to pop this center panel up a little bit. I like that when I have a center panel that's got a little bit of dimension. I think it looks really cool. And I always put one in the middle because no one likes to sag. That's something we try and avoid at all costs. No sagging. If you like this video or any of the videos that you've seen here on my channel, please subscribe, because that way you'll get notified or you'll see it in your YouTube feed when I'm doing something new. I will be doing videos more often during Sale-a-bration because there's so much going on right now and so many things to show you. This is also from the same stamp set, so you'll see that there are some beautiful greetings, and I love the font of these. I'm using the one that says Sending Heartfelt Thoughts, and I've stamped it in Night of Navy ink on the smoky slate cardstock, and I've cut it out with the banner from the Magical Mates. But you could use any, you could just cut it straight, the Magical Mates one, which is the one with the unicorns and things. So that's just this little banner. I've actually found that quite useful. It's very handy. Got a little bit of curve to it. I like it. I'm just going to pop that back in there. And something I didn't prepare earlier, but you might notice that my Heartfelt Thoughts is actually curved a little bit. When I put the rubber onto the block, I just bent it a little bit so it also had a curve to match the banner, which is a nice thing to do. And then I always like to sponge around my banners or sentiments, whatever it is I'm using, just with a bit of Night of Navy ink there. And then a couple of dimensionals under that, one at each end, one. There's one right here. Pop that onto the front there, and I'm just going to pop that over the edge. And my card is done. How simple is that? You don't have to do as much, I don't think, when you're using a stamp like this, because the detail is so beautiful that it really means you can simplify your cards, keep them nice and simple, and let the stamp speak for itself. It is a beautiful stamp. So I hope you like that one. That is actually one of our free offerings at the moment. So this one is free with a $90 order here in Australia. That amount is different in different markets, but it's $90 here in Australia, and I think you'll find that you'll get a lot of use out of it. I've already made a number of cards with it, and I'm really surprised at how versatile it is for one simple stamp. So if you have any questions or if you'd like to place an order, just head over to my blog. There's a Shop Now button, or you can contact me. I'll put my address, my email address in the comments. And like I said, subscribe so that you can check out the other things that I'll be adding while this fantastic promotion is on. Thank you guys. Bye.